best friends and next-door neighbors, Willow and Lillian, spill the tea on murder, mysteries, and other things that go bump in the night. So get your favorite teacup ready, and let's get into it. Welcome to Cruelty Podcast. This is Lillian. With me is Maris, and this is for patrons.
Hello.
Hi, patrons.
Hello, patrons.
Yeah, Willow is not sick anymore, but we just wanted to be sure because we're old and we don't want to get the COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a really good case today.
Oh, dang, what is it?
It is the baffling case of Juan Pedro Martinez Gomez.
What'd he do?
Well, he didn't do anything.
Oh.
But we'll get into it. This is just one of those cases that before I got really into true crime, I can't remember where I heard it. I want to say YouTube, but it just stuck with me because it's so fucking weird. Mm-hmm. It's one of those, like, no matter how hard I put, like, my thinking cap on, I can't puzzle out what could have happened.
I guarantee you I'm not going to figure it out.
No case is solved here today.
No, never.
Yeah, so it's just really one of the most bizarre missing person cases I've ever encountered. It doesn't make any sense. So it was June 25th, 1986, just after 6 a.m., and 10-year-old Juan Pedro Martinez Gomez was excited. Because he earned good grades in school, he was allowed to go on a road trip with his father and mother. His father, Andres Martinez, drove a truck that often had as cargo dangerous chemicals. So he drove one of those big tanker trucks.
Smart, yeah.
Well, I mean, it was his job.
Yeah, but...
So he'd been on shorter trips with his father before, but this was a longer trip to the Basque region of Spain. And so he was excited to go because he'd just learned about it in school.
Hold up, that's spooky stuff.
Can be, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So here's some fun facts about the Basque people who have nothing to do with this case. So most of them are Rh negative. And if you are Rh negative, it is likely one of your ancestors was from the Basque region.
We know that's true about you.
May we?
But do you have that?
I know. I said, but yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have French and Spanish ancestry, of which I have both, and you're Rh negative, it's pretty likely you have Basque ancestry, so I'm sure I do also. Another cool fact about the Basque language is that it's unlike any other language on Earth in that it's not related to any other language.
I bet it's impossible to learn.
No, they say it's not.
Oh, okay.
It's hard, though. So that's called a linguistic isolate, which I find interesting.
Okay.
So, I mean, I can see why Juan wanted to go.
It sounds
it's cool.
Yeah.
They have a bunch of crazy, like, costumes and a weird religion. Like, it's just a really interesting place. They were really isolated country.
I wonder if we got any listeners there. Any tea bags?
If you're any Basque bags, then please...
Yeah, be a Basque bag.
Please let me know, because I am very interested, and I think my peoples come from there, in part. In part. So on this trip, Andreas would be transporting 20,000 gallons of sulfuric acid.
Oh, my goodness.
He was taking it from Cartagena to Bilbao.
Sorry about it, our pronunciation.
I don't think we have any Spanish folks in the Patreon, so...
Sorry.
If you're listening to this many years later, I'm sorry. I'm stupid. I grew up in Arkansas. I do always listen to the words, like, through Google Translate, but by the time I get to record the episode, sometimes fucking flies out of my brain.
Yeah.
The trip was over 500 miles and would take 8 hours. It would lead the family through some pretty rough terrain and steep mountain passes.
See, you shouldn't be bringing your work truck to this shit.
This was a work trip.
Oh.
That just so happened to end up near Basque, and they were going to stop there.
I was like, why is he bringing all this sulfuric acid? I missed that part.
Yes, you did.
I'm dumb.
It might be. There are very few verifiable facts in this case, so I will just go over, before I go over any speculation, just what we know.
Okay.
For reasons unknown, when the family reached the Soma Sierra mountain pass, Andreas began to drive erratically. He ran one car off the road and clipped the mirror of another. The pass was very steep, with roads twisting and curving. Most people went slowly on these roads because of how dangerous they were. It is estimated that Andreas was driving 90 miles per hour on some stretches.
That's insane.
It's not good. Going this dangerous high rate of speed, the truck came upon a sharp curve. It didn't make it. It hit another car and rolled. The cab of the truck was crushed, and it is likely that Andres Martinez and his wife Carmen Gomez died instantly. Sulfuric acid began to spew from the container, and authorities rushed to soak it up with mass quantities of lime and sand, fearing that would get into a local water supply because there was a river less than a quarter mile away from the scene of the terrible accident.
Oh, where have we seen this recently?
Ohio and other places. In dumping the lime and large quantities of sand, the acid was neutralized and a horrific environmental catastrophe was narrowly avoided. So there's that. So both the tanker truck and the truck hit head-on are mangled. Because of the force of the accident, the tank is ruptured. The sulfuric acid spills into the smashed cab of the tanker truck. So let me talk about sulfuric acid for a minute.
They make fumes, right?
It does all kinds of stuff.
Do you think that he was like inhaling some fumes while driving?
We'll get there.
Okay.
I doubt it. I doubt it really sincerely, and we'll get to all the theories at the end.
I have a couple now.
Well, trust me, you're going to throw them in the trash in a minute.
Okay.
So, I have some experience with sulfuric acid because I do something called electroform. Mm-hmm. Now, electroform is the process of plating a non-metal object in copper using sulfuric acid, copper sulfate, and electricity. Mm-hmm. And sulfuric acid is no joke, y'all. So where you get it, if you're like me, I can't just go to the store. They don't sell it there. But you can go to an auto parts store, and you can get sulfuric acid because some people need to put them in their car batteries when the batteries get low or something. I don't fucking know. I'm not a car guy. Mm-hmm. Anyway, and of course, in doing this, I have spilled sulfuric acid on my hands like 80,000 times.
Not good.
I'll just reach right the fuck in there.
I do tell you to wear safety equipment.
And what do I tell you?
No.
That's right. Wear safety equipment. Don't be like Lillian, who is stubborn and weird. Anyway, does it burn the skin? Absolutely. It will cause a mild chemical burn with even like a little bit of like
I wish you'd
contact.
cut it out.
However, it's not going to eat a fucking hole in your hand.
It has eaten through a towel.
Yeah, but how long did that take? It took like weeks.
Yeah.
Weeks. All right, so I'm just pointing that out. So I want y'all to keep it in mind.
It's not like
the goo from Roger Rabbit. Like, if you get dipped in it, you're not instantly like...
Yeah.
You know.
It's not lava.
You're not instantly liquefied. So that's a common misconception. Because a lot of people are like, oh, if I was a killer, I'd dissolve the body in acid. There's a reason this isn't done. It's because it takes forever. It's not very effective. Common misconception, so keep that in mind. The driver of the other truck is badly injured and taken from the scene for treatment at a local hospital. But it takes hours before authorities and rescue workers are able to access the cab of Andreas's truck. Once they do, it is clear both husband and wife are dead. Uh-huh. Authorities then phone Carmen's mother, who was her next of kin, to inform her of the terrible accident and her daughter's and son-in-law's death. Carmen's mother is naturally devastated, but she asks one question. Please tell me that the boy is all right. She's, of course, talking about Juan. Authorities are shocked because they didn't find any other bodies on the scene. Carmen's mother informs police that Juan was in the truck with his parents. But Juan's body isn't there. It should have been, but it wasn't. No trace of Juan was found in the wreckage. Authorities immediately started a frantic search for the little boy. The surrounding countryside was scoured when it was obvious little boy wasn't in the truck. Like maybe he'd been thrown from the vehicle and staggered off and was injured somewhere close by. In the cab of the truck, they did find some children's clothing and a kid's cassette tape. So it was clear Juan had been with them on their trip, at least for part of it. They hooked up the wreckage of the tanker to a crane so they could lift it off the ground because they assumed they'd find him like underneath the wreckage.
Yeah.
He wasn't there. Then a horrible thought occurred to the authorities. What if they'd buried the small body of 10-year-old Juan under the mass quantities of lime and sand they used to soak up the chemicals?
Oh, Jesus.
By this point, local volunteers came and they helped with the search. Everyone is digging through these piles.
Yeah.
They don't find him there either. All that was found in the searches of the piles of lime and sand was the insole of a shoe, but the size did not match Juan's.
But who was Shu?
But who was fucking Shu? They never figured out who's fucking Shu that was.
Okay.
Man, this is creepy. So again, they searched the surrounding areas again. No Juan in sight. Investigators wondered if the sulfuric acid could have dissolved the boy's body. So they set about experimenting on pig carcasses and concluded that his body would have to have been submerged completely in sulfuric acid for over 24 hours to get it down to bones.
You still have bones. So
And
I was
there
I was
would have
thinking
been-
a gross thought that maybe they did it and it was now a murder.
No.
No.
So it would have been bones and like scraps of cloth. They would, even if he'd gotten dissolved by the acid, they would have found parts of him.
Stuff. Okay.
They didn't find shit.
Animal?
What do you mean animal?
Like maybe an animal took him off?
Oh, I don't think so. After a big explodey crash, there
right,
ain't going to
yeah,
be an animal for a million miles away. So now it's important to note that when the tank ruptured on the truck, it only sprayed it into the
No
cabin.
explosion.
There was no explosion. There was no fire. And the acid spray didn't even really damage the bodies of Andreas and Carmen.
Yeah, it's not, like,
That's
again,
not
it's
what
not
did it.
lava. I think
No.
it's not.
In fact, I said, like, the only thing that's going to do that is lava.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
like in the movies where the acid is, like,
Yeah,
crazy.
No. No blood, no bones, hair, or teeth from Juan were ever found. No torn or bloody or burned clothing. Nothing. No trace of the little boy remained in the truck or near it. And we're talking about what he was wearing that day.
Right.
Not his cassette tape and other clothes. Those were clearly just, like, packed in a little suitcase. Investigators began to suspect that Juan hadn't been in the truck at the time of the accident. The only other theory that had, even if it seemed implausible, was that someone had arrived on the scene of the accident and had taken Juan alive or dead. In order to piece together what happened, investigators turned to something called a tachometer, or a tachograph. This device measures how fast the truck was going when it stopped, like when the brakes were used, and for how long. How? I don't fucking know.
Like a tattler on a truck, like
what?
It's a device that tells you like when the truck stops and for how long, like that kind of thing.
Kind of. It seems like it was on the drive shaft.
Yeah, that's something I know a lot of commercial trucks have from King of the Hill.
Well, your King of the Hill knowledge has come in useful.
It
It's
has
the
a lot of
only-
knowledge.
It's the only time in life I think it's happened.
Yeah, but no, commercial trucks do have like a little thing that can track your brakes and stuff.
That's exactly what this was.
Okay.
And I wasn't going to go down a tachometer like rabbit hole and find out exactly how it worked. Just science and magic. That's how.
It's just a little tracking device.
Basically, it's to like, and they've been around since the 70s.
Yeah.
And they, of course, since he's a commercial truck driver, carrying industrial waste and chemicals, obviously Andreas's truck had this on it. And this is where things get really strange. Just before Andreas reached the Soma Sierra Pass, the truck had stopped at a cafe and gas station. A waiter recognized the family from pictures and said he had seen Juan with his mother and father that morning. The waiter even remembered what they ordered.
Wow.
He never saw Juan get into the truck. He only saw the truck leave the parking lot and head towards the mountain pass.
So was the kid left there? Or? No, you just
Well,
didn't see him.
We'll get to speculation in a minute. So what does that tell us? Nothing. He could have been in or out of the truck. We don't know. In between the cafe and gas station and the mountain pass, the tachometer revealed that Andreas had stopped his truck 12 times. Most stops lasted a minute to a couple seconds. What was strange is that this was on the ascent, going up the pass.
You don't usually brake going up. I mean, it's hard.
No, it would be hard. Like, you'll roll backwards and shit. Plenty of people ride their brakes, but on the descent. So you're not going to expect to see it going up a steep hill. In interviewing other truck drivers who carted similar loads, they said that stopping that much on the ascent was not only unusual, but dangerous. And one of Andreas's stops was nearly 20 minutes long. What was he doing? Mm-hmm. And the thing is they also compared it to traffic patterns that were going on at the time. Mm-hmm. The stops did not match with any of the traffic.
He was just driving all crazy because, like, he's stopping, but you also said that he was going like 90.
On the downhill, he was going like not over 90 miles an hour.
Okay, so he's braking all stupid going up and then
Not braking at
zooming
all
going
going
down.
down.
Yeah.
So this tells investigators that something might be wrong with the brakes, okay? So clearly he's stopping a bunch, checking the brakes. Maybe he's pulling over to
that
check
makes
the
sense,
brakes.
yeah.
And then it would explain why on the descent down the hill,
He didn't have any.
he didn't have any. It's why he's crashing into people, nudging them off the road.
Oh, okay.
And he lost control because he had no brakes.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
However, when they examine the truck, the brakes are fully functional and have no problems. There's nothing wrong with them.
God, this is a mystery.
I know. So if the brakes are fine, what caused Andreas to drive at a high rate of speed so recklessly? This had to have this is where it leads to a lot of speculation. Was he running from someone? Because you would drive crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you can imagine this. Excuse me, I ate chicken tendies and now I have heartburn because I can't just even enjoy life with my old ass body. You know, I've been followed before in a car. It does cause you to drive pretty wild. You try and lose the person.
Yeah.
Is it possible, like, he was stopping so much because someone kept getting, like, going in front of him, slamming on their brakes,
Right.
trying to get him to stop the car for some reason? And then he gets ahead of them and he speeds ahead and he just thinks, I'm going to outrun him. I've got the downhill now. And he loses control because he's in a heightened state of panic.
My first speculation was like maybe he was in an argument with the wife, like because the lady was there, right?
Nobody has ever speculated that.
Because
except
I've
me
been
and
in
you.
an argument with in a car with somebody, and they start driving crazy when.
Yes.
I mean, toxic, obviously, but that was like my first theory was like he wasn't getting along with somebody and he was driving all insane.
Well, we can speculate what caused the accident, but that still doesn't explain why the child was just fucking gone.
Yeah, and so like no one's found the kid.
Never.
I don't know that.
So we'll get. There's more. There's more. The driver of the truck that Andreas pushed off the road was injured but not seriously, and later told investigators that a white Nissan van pulled alongside him and stopped next to his truck after the wreck. He said that the van had two passengers who were clearly foreign, like they had accents, and it was a husband and a wife. The wife was blonde and claimed to be a nurse. She checked him over for injury, then said she and her husband would continue down the road to tend to those who were in the more serious crash, Andreas and the other truck he hit head on. Now, this is the only official police documentation of the sighting of the white van. However, locals in the area reported that two shepherds near the scene of the accident saw the van too. And not only did they see the van at the crash site, but they saw the couple stop, exit the vehicle, and remove something large from the wreckage of the cabin of the truck.
Okay, so they could be kidnapping the kid.
Some speculate it was Juan, either alive or dead. Because the investigators said that the child could not have survived the crash. Nobody could have. It was just...
Sometimes it freaky happens, though.
But sometimes because kids are small, you know, they don't get thrown around the same way adults do.
Like, I've seen a million billion stories where, like, this accident should have killed me, and, like, the car is a complete crumpled mess, and they're just fine.
There's this one picture that I saved on my phone because it was so amazing of a guy who was driving, like, one of those little smart cars, and it got pinned in between two semis.
Oh, my God.
And there's the driver, and he's just sitting there, like, waving at the camera, and he is just a hair's breadth from being smushed.
Yeah, so maybe something like that happened to the
It's
kid.
possible. So police did take those rumors seriously and tried to find the shepherds, but never did. And no matter how many times they made a public plea for the shepherds to come forward, they didn't. That tells me either they witnessed something they thought was fishy and didn't want to come forward because they were afraid, or those people don't exist and they're just rumors.
I think they took the kid.
Well, you're going to think it even harder in a minute.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I've solved it.
No.
Oh.
So, a rumor that persistently dogs this case is that Andreas was a drug smuggler. The rumors say he was forced to smuggle drugs by a criminal organization, and that said crooks had taken Juan on the ascent on that hill and were holding him until Andreas made his delivery, then they would give his kid back.
Okay.
It's a wild theory, but it holds merit, and I'll explain why. To note, there were traces of cocaine in the tanker that held the acid. How much cocaine did that motherfucking truck have to have if even putting sulfuric acid didn't get rid of the cocaine residue?
It would explain why there's, like, trash in there, too.
There wasn't trash in there.
There was a shoe thing. Like you said there was like a shoe, a sole shoe?
It was someone's shoe from the accident. It could have been the other drivers. They just never pinpointed where the shoe came from. There was no trash.
Oh, okay. I just thought it was just some random someone's shoe thing.
Might have been like a random shoe on the side of the road.
Oh, yeah,
that
that's
got
true.
like mixed in with the sand and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
I think it's trash, yeah.
Also, when the truck was processed by law enforcement, a small hidden compartment in the cabin was found to be holding some drugs. There are alternating reports whether it was cocaine or heroin.
Either
but
way
it was
bad.
more than personal use. So, I mean, clearly he's running drugs, but we don't know if his son, Juan, was connected to the drug running or not, or if the accident was related to the drug smuggling or not.
Yeah, maybe he got random, like someone was chasing him and giving him a hard time.
I'll get to mine in a minute. Another theory is that the couple in the white van took Juan from the wreck to take him to the hospital. They were on their way before police arrived, after all, according to the witness. Perhaps Juan died on the way, and fearing they'd get in trouble, they just dumped his body. Or the couple were drug traffickers too and took Juan to the hospital, but when he died along the way, they dumped him because they were fucking criminals.
Yeah.
I think either one of those is pretty possible. Here's what I kind of think, okay? If we're going to get into speculation, and we can, because that's all the facts of the case there is, and that boy has never been seen again.
I'll speculate anything, anytime.
Well, hot damn.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a fan of, like, wild speculation, like, because when you look in cases like the Gabby Petito case, I want to give an example of this because this is how hog wild people go. You know, they were watching, like, internet sleuths were watching Brian Landry's parents' house to see if that guy, he's the one who killed Gabby.
Okay, yeah.
The boyfriend, and to see if he was, like, hiding out in the house. And they thought that they had dug a secret tunnel under their flower garden, and they were like blowing up still pictures of the flower garden where they thought they saw his hand. Give me a fucking break.
See, they built a tunnel in King of the Hill 2 underneath their neighborhood, and it collapsed.
We're not. Do you need to do a podcast on King of the Hill?
I could. I know all of them.
God, I don't even like that show. It's just when you're from here and everyone talks like that, it's boring. It's not funny. It's just boring. It's the way
so
everyone
good.
talks. All right, go back to Michigan.
Yeah.
Here's what I think happened. So I think that something went wrong with his drug smuggling, and either an alternate gang or somebody like that was trying to run him off the road and steal his stash.
Yeah.
So he tries to get around him, and he drives all crazy, crashes his car, and they take the kid out.
Yes.
Maybe they think they can leverage him for, like, you know, ransom or something.
But the guy died, so...
But then the child dies, they just dump the body in the woods, and it's never found.
That's very sad.
But that's to me, like, it still sounds really crazy, but I can't think of anything else.
It does sound like a movie, but it went wrong.
It does sound like a movie. So it still circulates on the internet that Juan was dissolved by the acid. Y'all, this has been debunked.
I just think the internet liked that story, and it's gross. It
does, and it's gross. There's, like I said, there's no substance minus lava that can do that in 10 hours. He was only, like, they only didn't know about Juan being in the truck, too, for 10 hours, the police.
Yeah.
And
you'd find some crap or something.
If he were alive, he would have made a noise, so clearly he wasn't. But they would have found him on the scene. They would have found parts of him if the acid,
clothes or something.
Clothes, hair, blood, something. Nothing.
Yeah. Yep.
Also, a lot of misinformation will state the shoe that was found in the road was Juan's. But the official information is that it was not. Okay. So you'll just see, like, people love to make up shit about this case.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's really annoying. So directly after Juan goes missing, and they put out like an APB about the kid, because remember, before Amber Alerts, and this is not in America anyway, this is Spain. Where I don't believe they have that kind of system.
At least probably not then. Not
then, for sure. He was cited all over the place, Juan was. But none of the leads were ever substantial. They were all followed. One of the weirder ones was in 1987, an Iranian woman who was blind went to the Iranian embassy in Spain, or some Arabic embassy. She was just trying to get home, and she had a 10-year-old Spanish-speaking boy with her because she couldn't see. He was helping her.
Okay, yeah.
But when authorities asked, like, who is this kid, she got all flustered and left. And a lot of people think that was Juan.
I just think that's not a
I think it's
thing.
not connected at fucking all. Besides,
No.
he was 10. Juan would have been 11. So, I mean, around the same age, but I just doubt
That's
it.
some crazy lady who don't want to answer questions.
So, the drug smuggling investigation never turned up any actual evidence that Andreas smuggled drugs. Yes, he had drugs, but he could have been a dealer. So
What's shady?
it's shady, but it doesn't look like necessarily they just couldn't find him to have ties to anybody. He didn't really have a criminal record. He didn't have any episodes of mental illness to where he would have driven the truck all insane
Or
and killed
maybe,
his
because
family.
this is very speculative, maybe he wasn't the drug smuggler, but like the owner of the truck was or something. And
That is another theory. You're
and-
very good at this.
Yeah, I'm super good. Like his boss or something.
Yeah, they kind of said
Like he
that.
didn't know he had stuff on him, and then
Yep.
then like some crazy driver who knows that there's stuff in there is coming after
Well,
him.
he had just recently gotten that truck. It was the cab was new,
Yeah.
and so
Because why would you be smuggling cocaine with your whole family?
see, that's another thing people point out is let's say he was a drug smuggler. You really going to put your son and wife in the car?
You wouldn't do it unless someone had a gun to your head.
They think he might have been forced. Like
I
through
feel like
extortion.
my feelings say this is probably his boss was shady.
Yes, that's what a lot of people think. And the truck that he purchased it from, maybe he was given the wrong truck that had drugs in it, so they chased him down.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah,
yep. You
that's
just
a good
speculate all
one.
day. I'm good at this.
That's a good one. Another theory that I came up with and didn't see anywhere is that 20-minute stop, maybe it was because little Juan had to get out and go wee-wee. Kids are annoying. And you're like, pull over to the side of the road and just fucking go, just pee on a tree. You know?
Yeah.
And then somebody snatched him.
Right.
And then his dad jumps in the fucking truck with the mom and they try and chase down the kidnapper and end up losing control of the vehicle.
Well, I think
I don't think
the
that's
drugs
likely
is the
either.
most shady
I do
thing
think
about
the drugs
this.
has something to do with
Yeah,
this
yeah,
for
yeah.
sure. So we're going to talk about the weird monkey wrench in this case because I haven't even gotten to it yet.
Hey,
Let's talk about the last time anyone saw Juan alive.
was it the restaurant, right?
It was the restaurant and the waiter at that cafe.
Okay.
Remember, he said he remembered what they ordered because it was weird.
What was it?
All
Was it-
they ordered was a cake for Juan. It is 6 a.m. in the morning, and he had given him cake.
Is it his birthday?
No.
Maybe the kid just really fucking wanted cake. I've had cravings like that.
I have bought my children things so they would just shut the fuck up.
I mean, I bought
would-
the chicken, the fried chicken.
All right, so now I have to explain what that means. So I went out to buy some like over 100 proof alcohol because I'm going to make some gummies, and you need that to make the tincture. And we were going to stop by the store to get some pickles because I love pickles. I had to eat like 10 pickles a day. Mm-hmm. And as we pull in the parking lot, this sweet, sweet siren song of fried chicken filled my nose, not my ears, because I'm smelling it. Mm-hmm. And I told Maris, I got to have tendies.
You got to have it.
Yeah, the store's deli. Mm-hmm. And we got lucky. The guy just gave us all the tendies
He
they
gave
had.
me the entire plate of tendies,
Yeah,
and he only charged me for £1, the cheapest that they can
Yeah.
charge.
but it was at least 2-3 pounds of tendies.
He was just like, "You can have it all," and I was
He's like,
yes,
I don't even care.
score.
We're like, yes, now the babies get a snack too. We weren't going to share. We were going to hide in our room, watch RuPaul's Drag Race, and eat all them tendies by ourselves.
No, we shared it with the
But
kids.
we shared it because we got extra. But I think it's weird. And was it possible they left him there and like they did a kind of an illegal adoption? Like they're like, maybe they were in trouble with all this drug shit and they just wanted to get their son out of
Let's
that
make
life.
sure the kid's safe. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, we're going to give him
And this
to
is
some
like a
other
going
family.
away cake.
Yeah, we love you. You're going to wait here for your secret Aunt Linda who you'd never met. And it's really just his new mom and he just doesn't know.
Yeah, my feeling is that he wasn't in the cab.
How could he be? They would have found him. Mm-hmm. So while I do think the drug smuggling is either he was in the cab and those people took him away, or he was not in the cab when the truck crashed. Mm-hmm. But I mean,
Something celebratory about that cake, like
yes, and he said everybody was in a real kind of jubilant sort of mood, like they were celebrating something. Maybe they were celebrating their trip. Who knows?
yeah.
But y'all, doesn't not strike. Here's what strikes me. I love my kids. And if I were driving a truck full of fucking sulfuric acid, they wouldn't go with me.
No.
That's dangerous.
Yeah.
Something about this stinks to high heaven, and it's not just the fucking drugs. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't put my kid on that trip. I'd be like, well, when Daddy gets back, I will take you in our car.
A regular car, not full of acid.
fucking dangerous chemicals.
Right.
That if we crashed, we're surely all going to fucking die.
Right. Not a good time.
I can't think of just about any reason I would drive like that unless I was, 1, having a seizure and not able to help myself, 2, trying to kill myself and my family, or 3, running from some drug smugglers who were trying to kill me. Mm-hmm. So I do think that the argument aspect, like, okay, follow me down this road. Mm-hmm. Let's say they got him the cake because they're saying goodbye. Mm-hmm. They leave him at the cafe. Someone else picks up Juan. Mm-hmm. So he's safe and sound and he never knows who he is ever again, whatever. And then they argue.
Like, because you gotta quit being a drug smuggler. And he's like, no.
We lost our son. It's your fault. He's like, bitch, don't tell me what to do.
But they were in a good mood at the cafe.
See, you'd think you'd be somber or
maybe they were
nervous.
celebrating their trip. Like, we're halfway there. There's a cake. I don't know.
I don't know. Do you see what I mean? This case is a real brain teaser.
I can speculate so much.
I mean, you could speculate until it doesn't even resemble itself
Yes,
anymore.
I can do that.
But we're not going to do that, for that's silly. But yeah, this is a little shorter of a Patreon episode than I usually do. But remember, y'all, I've been doing all the episodes for a minute, and I'm tired.
Get better, Willow.
She's fine, and she will return. We're recording tomorrow, and we have a 2-parter for you guys. And I know you guys like those. I don't have the fortitude to do them, but Willow likes to do them. Yeah, so...
Should have a cake for her return, and then she disappears again, and we never say anything.
And then we pour acid everywhere.
Yeah.
Weird. No, I'm not gonna kill Willow and dissolve her body in sulfuric acid. That's rude.
Okay.
It's rude to say the least. Yeah, and I'm glad you guys really liked our latest Maris Monday.
It's gotten good downloads.
It has. Our numbers are crazy today.
That I just couldn't get over what it is.
Big hairy hands.
She's got man hands.
Big hairy flying hands. That's a stupid thing, y'all. That's stupid. But you know what I got for you next Maris Monday?
What is it?
A parakeet.
I don't want any birds. I don't like them.
No.
I mean, I like them.
I'm not going to give you a bird. The episode's about a bird. It's about a parakeet that can tell the future.
Rad.
And then they make a cult about the parakeet.
Fair.
And then somehow time travel's involved.
Yep.
Yeah, this is the stuff I like. Jeff the Talking Mongoose, Big Flying Hairy Hands. A lot of animal
stuff.
Culty Parakeet. Yeah, it's good stuff. Animals are weird.
That's true.
3 a.m., your cat got the zoomies, and all of a sudden it stops and just stares in a corner.
Yeah.
It's seeing shit that I can't see, and I don't like that. It's freaky. Anyway, in the comments, y'all, please tell me what you think happened to little Juan Pedro. This case just bugs me. Like, every time I hear about it, I think about it for like days.
But where was Juan?
But where was Juan? We don't know. He's never been found. No remains have ever been recovered.
If you are the Juan, speak up.
Oh, Maris, that was a very bad joke.
We'll find him.
It's terrible. Like, I'm cringing for you, honestly.
Teabags will love it.
Oh, boy. I married an old dad. That's what happened.
I've been an old man since I was a little girl.
That's true. Why? All right. Anyway, thank you all for bearing with us while we were down a host. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
We were down a hoe. Yeah. Just one hoe and one dad. That's all we have. So
one dad, one hoe.
Hopefully things will be back to normal next month. I want a normal month. Remember what I said in December. Ooh, that rhymed.
Yeah. It's the Guy Fawkes. It's in November. You got it late.
Yeah, but remember, I said I wanted a mild, inconsequential year that just is bland and flavorless, and I meant that shit.
Yeah, for real.
Nothing great, nothing terrible, just nothing.
Yeah.
Anyway, we love you guys, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.